everybody. Jeff Crutcher here with the Over the Bars podcast. I'm with my co-host,
Scott Gipkin.
I love how you do that the same way every time. And the return of the one, the only, the true wizard, his grandmasterness,
Mikey Garrison.
And the crowd goes wild. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a big one for you today. What do you say we drop the green flag and put the hammer down?
Let's go.
Mike's Hot Topics. Mikey, what do you got?
Oh, man. Right out of the gate?
Why not?
Okay, first of all, let's talk about RC Cola.
I got the hat on.
I've actually been wanting to ask you this. What is your affiliation with RC Cola?
Okay,
other than just the fact that you love RC Cola?
Sure. I don't necessarily have an affiliation with RC Cola. What I have is I had an Estonian racer.
Yep.
RC Cola does this really cool thing in Estonia. So much like here, how Budweiser is distributed by local distributors.
Okay.
Think of that same model. RC Cola is the same way internationally. So there's RC Cola importer in Estonia, in Israel, in fucking Kazakhstan, all over the world. And they're local bottlers the same way it is here. Okay, so Jorgen got connected with the people that are the bottlers and distributors of RC Cola in Estonia because they like to support Estonian athletes.
Oh.
Yes, yeah. So it's this whole like pride thing about Estonia. So yeah, that's all that it is Jorgen brought money to the team and a name brand.
And he brought cola.
And he brought cola.
Is Estonian RC Cola different than American RC Cola?
Kind of. So RC Cola over there, all colas internationally don't have corn syrup in it.
Oh.
So the same way that we have Mexican Coke here,
Okay.
that's made different.
Uh-huh.
Same thing with RC Cola and all colas internationally.
So which one has the cocaine in it?
I don't
I believe
know.
that might be Colombian RC Cola.
Colombian Cola?
Yeah, Colombian Cola. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scotty, you just had your kid. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're consistent, and then again consistently inconsistent. So we've been gone for a couple of weeks of doing this.
Yeah, we just dropped off.
Had a baby. Baby girl's here. She's wonderful. She's fantastic. She's everything you could ever want in a baby. However, I'm not sleeping a lot, but that's pretty standard operation for right now. So,
and Michael, you had twins 2 years ago?
There'll be a year and a half.
Okay.
Here shortly. Yes.
which twins to me, like just having one right now, starting over again at the three and a half, and then now a new baby, and then that's hard enough thinking about two at the same time. That's a lot of diapers. It's a lot of bottles. It's a lot of things.
Yes, but they play with each other.
So they entertain each other.
So they entertain each other. So we can literally, what's the politically correct way to say this? We can safely leave them by themselves for time to ourselves, and they'll play with each other.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, mine.
And I talked to Jerry C. on the phone, and we have one that is a little Jeffy and one that is not a little Jeffy.
What does that mean?
So I just said that we have one very rambunctious and wild child, and your dad informs me, oh, yeah, Mikey, have you never heard the story? Yeah, his mom was yelling out in the driveway one day, and he was probably, 2 or 3, and I go out in the driveway, and he's butt-ass naked, climbed up on top of the Aerostar van, just sprawled out up top. And then your dad proceeded to tell me that he thought that you were smart enough to know that if you were naked, you'd be more sticky, and it would help you climb.
I feel like that's something Jeff would do today, right now.
Yeah, actually,
Like, the temperature hits 70. Jeff's naked on top of the truck.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck clothes, bro. Still to this day. I mean, I only do it, for everybody else. If I could, I would just go.
we had a kid growing up across the street. His name was Nick, but he was actually Naked Nick. Because you'd like hit her, bang on the door, and we were little kids. We were 5 or whatever. And bang on the door, you'd open the door, and there's a naked kid, toddler, right there that came running down from the house to play. Like, oh, where's your pants, dude? No pants.
Wow. So what's your daughter's name?
Her name is Cove, Cove.
And what is the meaning of that?
Well, I mean, like a cove at the lake is the best thing I can give you on that. But we wanted something with C's. We wanted to keep the C's because I'm technically a C. Callie's a
Christopher.
C. Yeah.
Wow, dude. Yeah, don't forget Scott's actual name is Christopher. Christopher Scott Gebkin. It's so funny. Like in AMA, all AMA races say Christopher Gebkin.
Yeah. Yeah. Christopher
results.
Gibson, AMA stuff. And then she's Callie, Cruz, and Cove. So that's with CG. We wanted to kind of keep with that. That was the idea.
I forgot about that.
Do we dare say that's clever?
Is it clever or cliche? Either one, whatever. But she's awesome, man. She's fantastic, except for she just is a baby and doesn't let you sleep and needs every moment of your attention. But the other part of that is it's a lot on Callie more so than on me because I am usually on cruise duty, which means entertain him and keep him from hurting himself or someone else. Or
How old is Cruz now?
3.5.
He has a bike now.
He has a bike. He has the Husky E2.
Does he like it?
He loves it. It's all he wants to do. Like
I'm getting old.
You don't say.
I'm getting old.
no, but see, I swear we're not getting any older. Everybody else is getting older, but there's no way we're getting older.
Yeah, but my mindset's changing. Like I was always like, oh, when I have kids, boys or girls, we're racing, we're doing all this stuff, and now like there's a small part of me. I shouldn't say this on a motocross podcast, but there's a small part of me. It's like, girls, no, we don't want to do that. It's scary. It's dangerous.
Golf.
Yeah, let's take up tennis.
Sell the bikes and buy golf clubs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to fall off a set of golf clubs.
Tennis is the other one.
Tennis.
Yeah, tennis is very safe by comparison.
Ping pong. Ping pong would be good.
No. What's the halfway between ping pong and tennis? Pickleball.
Pickleball is all the rage right now.
Have you played pickleball?
I have played pickleball.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think I played pickleball back before it was cool.
Of course you did.
In school. We used to play pickleball in school, like as a PE.
In high school?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I took outdoor ed. It was an outdoor education class, and that was just one of the things we did. It was like a blow-off class. And pickleball was one of the things, and you'd play sand volleyball or whatever. Just stuff. It was like something that one of the football coaches came up with a class to do. It wasn't anything special. Jeff didn't go to school. So.
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, not only did I go to school, I actually, as I was going through, and we'll get to that photo there, as I've been going through old photos, that also includes old yearbooks, old report cards.
Oh, wow. Just everything.
Everything. Yeah, dude, my mom kept all of my report cards from all of elementary school.
Is it all like organized by date and everything, or is it all just in one box and you got to navigate?
They were more so just in a box.
Yeah.
But what's cool is like elementary school, dude, I was like straight A's, maybe an A- here and there, but I had really good grades in elementary school. 6th grade, I killed 6th grade also. 7th grade is whenever my inability to care about stupid stuff started kicking in. And then, and what's funny is like my whole life, I always had it in my mind that I was like this straight A student. And I, you know how like you tell a story a bunch of times and then that story kind of becomes true and there's a detail or something that you forget?
Yeah.
I've told so many people about how I was a straight A student whenever I left school. I found my my transcript or whatever whenever I left school, like my dismissal thing. Dude, I had bad grades.
Tanked, huh?
Tanked. However, I remember as I was looking at it, I was so confused because I was like, dude, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Like I left school studious. Like I had good grades. And then I remembered it's because my last 2 weeks of school I was at the Texas Amateur Nationals, the spring nationals that are going on right now. Then I came back and guess what it was? Spring break. Then whenever I came back to actual school, I got punished for something that happened like a month earlier before that with a group of friends. We were teasing a girl.
Imagine that.
And it really, in all honesty, like we weren't being ridiculous by any means, but we were teasing this girl and her friend got mad at us, and the friend ratted us out and lied about some of the things that we said. But the administrator was just like, dude, guys, your boys, you guys act up. We know that you act up, especially in a crew. I don't know what was said. You guys can be telling me the truth, but I have to punish somebody. And I have to punish you all equally because I can't know who was, who did what. So whenever I got back from school, and by the way, whenever I went to Texas, I had everything organized in advance. I had all of my homework that I took with me, did it all in Texas. Whenever I came back, I went to all my teachers. I went to school early so I could turn in all my assignments from, the previous time. And I was in my first class, and the administrator came by and was like, hey, dude, you got to serve your time. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, you got to do 3 days of ISS.
Put you in the hole.
They put me in the hole. Yeah. So I was in the hole for 3 days, and I was sentenced to 3 days of ISS. Then on the fourth day, I came back and went to my first class, and the ISS teacher came and got me and was like, hey, dude, I've got you on my sheet. What? 4 days? Okay. So I thought it was 3, but I was like, oh, whatever, I guess it's 4. So I did a 4th day. Then when I came back on the 5th day, I was still in ISS. And so I called my mom. I went to the office and I called my mom. I was like, hey, they still have me in ISS. So my mom came up there, and it turned into a nuclear bomb. Because come to find out, they were punishing me for being gone from school. Come to find out, all the other boys that were in on this, this joke against this poor girl, Jessica Pius, they all did 1 day of ISS. And then I did 1 day of ISS for being bad and 4 days of ISS because I was a dirt bike racer, like straight up.
Damn dirt bikers.
Yeah.
Imagine having like on track back then.
I know. And the crazy part is whenever you're in ISS, they'll bring you your homework, but the ISS teacher is the one that has to grade all of your schoolwork for the week. And usually the ISS teacher is also one of the coaches. So he's more concerned with doing, fucking football stuff than he is with doing school stuff. So the entire time that I was gone, because none of my homework was getting turned in, all of my grades went like to F's and D's. Then whenever I got back and turned all my homework in, none of it got accepted because the administrators told the teachers, do not let him, don't grade in his homework. He's going to ISS. Then the ISS teacher had all my past homework. She's like, I'm not fucking doing this. And then so I ended up leaving school with like F's and D's.
That's when you walked out, 2 middle fingers in the air.
Fuck you guys.
Fox
12.
jersey on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fox jersey, pickup kit, everything ready to go.
Yeah.
I would have been in shift gear.
Shift. Yep. Okay.
Attaboy.
The bum.
The bum.
Yeah, I left in 8th grade.
Now, did you do homeschool, like a homeschool program after that? Because like the on track stuff that didn't exist.
No, I did. I did a semester of this online schooling, which was all by CD-ROM.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
did
totally
that even exist
different.
back then?
Yeah, CD-ROM with this program called Alpha Omega, and my mom didn't really look into it. She just got onto the Missouri schooling system.
AOL.com.
Yes, and found that Alpha Omega was accredited. It was relatively cheap. It was all CD-ROM. All I had to do was just click the buttons on the computer screen, get it right, and you pass. Come to find out, it was like hyper Christian. So it was like
That doesn't fit you?
If Adam has 2 apples and Eve that has 3, how many apples do you have after 5 days of collecting apples? Like it was that kind of shit. And like every single thing was religious. And I called my mom downstairs. I was like, Mom, what the fuck did you buy me? I didn't say that, but I was like, what is this? Like, why am I getting all this Christian stuff? I've never done it. And there was a lot of theology stuff. I didn't know anything about that. So I'm totally failing on that stuff. So then my mom put me into the University of Missouri extension program. And I went from like 8th grade to like 15th grade. like that.
15th grade?
Yeah, I know that's not a real grade, but that was like
I remember you talking about that. I remember that being
dude,
a
it was so unbelievably difficult. And the shitty part is you had to do everything by hand.
Was it on CD-ROM?
No, it was all by paper, everything. Ooh. So, dude, we ordered the program, and MU sent us like 3 Bankers boxes worth of books and stuff. So I didn't do it. And then that would have been when I was 14, and I just kind of like bailed on school altogether for about a year and a half. And then my mom woke me up one day. Hey, what are you doing today? I was like, I'm not going right. And she was like, cool, you're going to go to Longview and take the GED test and get this thing over with. And then I took my GED test and
here we are.
Passed, yeah. Yeah.
Now you're racing dirt bikes for RC Cola out of Estonia.
Look at me go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The top.
Yeah. So I have a big thing that I want to talk about, but I just talked about me for like 10 minutes. So let's talk about you guys for a little bit before I get back.
Did anybody see my Instagram video from last night?
No. What was it?
I haven't been on there.
My kid, Cruz?
No.
So, okay. So he's
the stump.
The tree stump.
Yeah.
So I'm in, like, he's out riding, right? So we, like you said, like the kids on a bike, like, whatever. Like, well, he rides this E2 like pretty good. Like he does pretty good, but he can't always balance himself when he stops or whatever. So anyways, he's out riding, doing his thing. He likes to ride in the front yard. We got a big old front yard. And sorry, I'm burping. I didn't want to burp in the mic. Yeah, real good. He is riding kind of big, giant circles out in the front. And I'm like, I go in the house to take a leak or get something. I don't know. I come back out. I get into the garage. I look out there, and he's just sprawled out, separate from the bike, sprawled out in the yard. I'm like, oh, man. So luckily, I'd pulled all the stuff out of the garage. The side-by-side's right there. I jump in it, and I drive all the way out to where he's at. And as I pull up, I'm like, you know what? This is great, because I could see exactly what happened. Pull up my phone. I just hit record, and I walk up to him, and he is just bawling, losing his mind. And if you could just watch it if you go to my Instagram. But, like, it's this tree. He smoked it on his bike. Was he not looking? I don't have a clue. Wasn't paying attention. We're like 500 feet from the house. Like smoked it, broke it off, and he's laying there crying and just starting to get up and crying about breaking the tree. He's not crying about crashing or scared or whatever. He's crying about breaking the tree, and then he's like, "Will you pick up my bike? Get back on and go. Okay, see you later, buddy." Like it's just this cute little video, random. Anyways, I don't know, it's just pretty funny.
Are you gonna cry about it, or are you gonna keep racing?
That's kind of where we're at. But it's like, as dad here, now I got to go buy a new tree because he broke off the tree. That was
a very environmentally friendly generation.
Yeah, his electric bike knocking trees down.
Yeah.
What would Elon do?
Those little SX2 and E2 bikes, whatever they're called, those are cool.
They're super cool. So I actually talked to JP on the phone last night, the night before, and they went and raced the Oklahoma State Series first round, and he said they had to create additional e-bike classes because there's so many of them, of kids on these electric 50s or whatever.
Now, how long did they take to charge?
Actually, so Cruise isn't that bad. It can charge probably pretty close to full within like 30 minutes. Oh. But his battery is like a like electric lawnmower battery.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a DeWalt battery, but like 4 of them or 6 of them or something. So it's, and then it slides in. Yeah, you take the battery in and out. The E5s and all the bigger ones, like the Cobra one, you plug the bike in like you do a Stark or whatever. Yeah.
Did you guys see that Stark got banned from X Games?
So is that real?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if it's. I've seen headlines on it, but is it real?
Yes, it's real. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. Call this a hot take, if you will. I think that fucking Axel Hodges or his old man or his brother
got in the ear of somebody.
Yeah.
But see, okay. I that's the most non-X Games thing ever. You know what I mean?
What would be his goal? His end goal in not having a Varg in competition?
Because Patrick Evans and Best Whip, like he had it locked up.
Unbelievable. He goes upside down and backwards, and then comes back around.
You can't do that on a 450 or a 250. You just can't do it on a gas bike. You can only do those kind of whips because of the torque and the gyration of the electric bike, and not having any type of movement within the chassis.
Why wouldn't they just create a class for it?
I don't know how many guys are riding Starks. I don't know. It'd be cool if they did, but I mean, I don't. That's the most. I saw headlines for it, but I didn't read any of it.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
it's totally like X Games is X Games, right? It's the opposite of like the Olympics. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
extreme.
yeah, like extreme game. That's
It's
the whole
supposed
idea.
to be the like outlaw,
Yeah, like
the forward
punk
thinking.
rock,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be that kind of stuff. And then here you go, no e-bikes in the dirt bike jump off that no one even knows is happening these days anymore because X Games is half the size of what it was before. Not even half.
Okay. On the note of the KTM e-bike, all right, or the Husky, what did that thing cost? What was the retail price on that?
Like $2,200. That's for ours.
Yeah.
And that is the small, like PW50 version is what we
Yes. Okay. So I don't think that our KTM 50s cost that much.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't.
I can only find the original price of it on JD Power, but it's not. This says that it was $1,900 new
For the
in
like a
in
KTM
1995.
That seems a little steep.
That seems really
That
high.
seems a little high.
Really?
Because that's like what you like a PW50 is right at $2,000. Like the E2s and the PW50 are priced almost exactly the same.
Well, yeah. I mean, who knows?
Right.
You know, that could be adjusted for inflation too. I don't know. It's JD Power. I don't know if it's MSRP, original MSRP.
Right.
I'd be curious. I wonder if I could. I'm sure my dad would probably be able to know.
You'll probably find a receipt in this box of pictures.
That's
and
literally what I was
school
about to say. Your dad probably has the invoice, the handwritten invoice.
Do you remember where your bike came from? Do you know that information?
Freedom.
Really?
Yep.
I wonder if your dad ordered yours before my dad.
Oh, wait. The orange one?
No, the
Or
white one.
The white. I say that I'm 95% sure it's Freedom because he got a bike too
Right.
at the same time.
Yeah. Mine came from Arkansas.
Oh,
Yep.
why? Why Arkansas?
You couldn't get them here.
Oh, well, maybe mine didn't then. I just always kind of assumed they came from Freedom.
No, my 95 came from Arkansas and it was shipped up in a little box.
to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And I came home from school. Well, I'll ask you this in a second. I came home from school not knowing I was getting a dirt bike, and I walked into the garage and my dad was home and it just was sitting, and those bikes had kickstands on them.
Yep.
And the kickstand was down and the bars were turned and it was pointed out just right in the middle of the garage. And it was obviously mine, like a little dirt bike.
Right.
And I walk in, I was like, oh my God. My dad was like, I got you a set of riding gear too. There was some Ocelot stuff.
Yes,
Dude,
yes.
decked me out, started the bike up, and literally just like put me on it. It was like, this is how you go, and then this is how you slow down, and just let me go out in the yard. And dude, I mean, like a fish to water, I took to it immediately. I'm sure I fell down plenty, but I remember like I rode it for hours and hours and hours out in the yard. With that, how did you get your first bike?
Christmas at my grandparents' house. My grandpa always ate Tums. He ate them like it was like a hobby for him. So we're all sitting in the living
That
room.
can't be good.
No, it's terrible for you.
And he said, "Hey, Shug, go in there in the kitchen and get my Tums, would you?" So I said, "Yeah." So I cruised in there and I walked past it. I was totally oblivious to the fact that it was sitting back by the sliding door with a big bow on it. I walked past it, brought the Tums back, and they were all just staring at me like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I got your Tums." And they were like, so then my grandma said something like, "Go give me a fork." And so I was like, "Okay." So then I go and I'm like, "Whoa." So then I saw it. I was afraid of it. But then we took it in my grandma's backyard. And I believe, we'd have to ask my dad. I think he rode it first to show me like it's okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, we rode circles in the backyard. And then we went over there every day, just riding circles over and over and over. Then we went to Kingsville and I rode up the finish line, but I was afraid to come down.
Yeah.
And so my dad...
That thing was massive back then, so that makes sense, yeah.
My dad had to lay down and roll down it to show me that if I fell down, I would be okay. And he told me that was the most painful thing in his life that he's ever done. But he rolled to the bottom and hopped right up and was like, "See, no big deal." And I guess his back and everything was just tore to shit. Yep.
Okay, so was that Christmas of '94?
Would have yes.
Yeah.
Probably. Or maybe it was my birthday. It was something with gifts because it was like the whole family was there.
Mikey, I'm pretty sure that it would have been your birth. It had to either be Christmas of 94 or your birthday in 1995. Because I got mine, spring had just started. Like I'm saying, it was that there were leaves that were budding, but I remember it wasn't full leaves, and there still was some kind of chilly. But yeah, because you started riding like 3 or 4 weeks before I did.
Yes. And then your dad got the butterscotch KTM.
Yes.
My dad had the white one.
Yeah. Greg had a 250 though, right? Or did he have the 360?
No, I think he had a 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Those were the days, dude.
Dude, so different. Like, I don't remember actually like the process of getting my first bike, but I remember the first ride on my bike.
Which was a PW?
PW, pink and white. And we talking about pictures. You got this picture. You're going through your moto files, all the stuff you're posting. It's so different now. You want a picture of my kid on a bike, I got to just scroll 3 seconds and or a half a second, and I'll have 10 photos for you, right? I did the ODMC Feature Friday thing last week, and went in there and I was like, hey, Mom, can you dig up some photos of my riding and stuff? She's like, yeah, I'll get around to it. She brought me like 20 photos of like my riding career.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this all you could find? She's like, yeah, I didn't look real hard, but like this was the main stuff that I could find. And like some of it's like 1999 Supercross photos of like just random in the stadium or like at like waist high in the pits and stuff. Like, what?
Yeah.
And so I need to either do some super digging to find photos, but there's like, I have one picture that I've ever seen of me riding my PW, ever. The one photo, it's on Facebook now or whatever. That's the only photo that I have ever seen of me riding that dirt bike. Wow. I remember my first ride on it, but apparently the Gebkin household didn't own a camera. I don't know.
I have an unpopular opinion. I almost like it. Yes, I like capturing the moments and like seeing things like this, but I think it was better in our era because I can remember it how I want to remember it, and there's no photo evidence to prove me wrong. So, like, I used to think to myself, dude, you are ripping. And then Curtis Harper will post a picture of me at a MoVMX race. And I'm like, I look like a squid. What was I doing?
Dude, that happens to me when I see a video of myself now.
Yeah,
like, what is that?
Cooper Webb just posted some video of him riding the outdoor track at the Carmichael Farm. And I was watching it and legitimately thought, I can go this fast.
Little do we know.
Not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
But it's so funny because it's like he's hitting all his marks perfectly, so it makes it look really, really easy. Right. But to your point, it's like, there was a couple years ago that at the Missouri State race, I was on whenever I had my 250 and my 354 stroke, and Chris Thies got some video of me. I think you were announcing that day.
Yeah,
you
I was.
Were. Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chris Thies had some video of me riding that day, and I remember thinking, dude, fucking nobody could ever beat me. Like the way that I was riding. Chris sent me the videos, and I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to put these out.
The older I get, the faster I was, man. The older I get, the faster I was.
Are you racing the state race next weekend? Or this weekend?
This weekend? No. No, I haven't rode since Topeka.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
How much do you love racing arena cross?
I love riding arena cross. It's one of my favorite disciplines of riding a dirt bike. Riding an arena cross track whenever you get locked in and you start doing everything perfect. And I'm sure this is the way Supercross guys feel. I've rode Supercross tracks, but didn't feel the same way as I did in arena cross. And then, like, the crazy part is every single race except for Lebanon, I would qualify, like, between 8th and 12th every weekend. And then I would go out and fucking not make the mains. From Enid, the first night, which I qualified 8th and made it into the mains, through my heat race. And I was like, dude, I got it. Like, I'm good this year. I'm feeling good. And then failed to make a main all the way until Springfield. So I went, let's see, we did 10 races. I made 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 6 weeks of racing, I didn't make the mains.
I personally am very glad that you're racing arena cross, so none of us have to.
Yeah, right.
And we can just watch it through you because it doesn't look like fun at all.
But I do love it. I really do. Topeka was the most fun I've ever had an arena cross, I think, ever.
This year.
This year, yeah, dude. Tracy built the track so good, and the triple quad was really, really fun. The corner after, they took some topsoil and sprinkled it in and mixed it in. The whoops were big, but not like killer. It was a technical track, but it wasn't like wicked. It was very raceable, which is weird because Topeka is it's the smallest one. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's usually super hard.
Yeah, but this topsoil stuff that Tracy mixed in was so amazing.
Is Topeka smaller than Lebanon?
Topeka is narrower.
The floor space is like smaller.
It's longer, but it's narrower. Yeah, and I know this sounds funny, but like if Lebanon's width is more of a problem than it is a solution, because it kind of makes the entry and exit points of the corner kind of weird, because the way that all the obstacles get built, all the corners are too wide. Yeah. So it's kind of a wonky track. I used to love racing there, and this year I qualified 22nd. I hated it.
Wow.
Yeah, I just didn't have it that weekend.
Isn't it funny how you can fall into the same qualifying spot for 6 weeks in a row or 8 weeks in a row? It's the same thing you see in Supercross. You know what I mean? Like Benny, 12 to 15. That's just where he's going to be at. You know what I mean? Or Barsha Mookie, 7-8, whatever. You know what I mean? Except for Tampa, I guess. But like just different things like that. It's just funny how the pecking order just falls into place, and that's just randomly have a standout.
Yeah. Mookie's 7th or 8th every week, except for the week that I pick him for 7th in Rocky Mountain Fantasy, and he wins. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't do Rocky Mountain. I don't like it. I like the Pulp MX, but we obviously can't do it now, which I don't know. I thought Missouri passed sports betting, so I don't know, but we can't do it. And then Rocky Mountain just doesn't. I want to be able to put my money on Kevin making the main. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something I got to watch 4th in the LCQ to see if Jeremy Hands is going to take out somebody to make it in or not,
Have you guys checked out like the underdog betting for Supercross?
I've never done any sports betting ever.
So I didn't either. Brittany, my wife, did for football. Like she's big into football, huge into football. So she did like, I don't know, you get so many friends, you get $50 or whatever, and like she won some money playing football. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put $20 in on Supercross. Supercross betting is totally different, and it's super stupid. You put $20 in, and you can possibly win like 0.75 if you get 5 out of 5 correct or something like that. It's just not big enough yet.
It's just not enough people are betting on it.
Whereas like in the football one, if you get 3 of 18 picks right, then you get like double, triple your money.
Right.
But they don't do that with Supercross.
I probably need to not start.
That
need to not start.
Yeah, that was my thing. I was like, this is probably a bad idea.
It might become a problem. Yeah, I probably need to stay away from that.
I'm out
Yeah.
on sports betting. Yeah, it doesn't interest me.
Yeah, it doesn't. Just betting in general. I don't really do a lot of gambling. I might go to the casino once a year, maybe once every 2 years. It just like because people are going, or you know what I mean, or there's an event there or something. I don't know.
So the Council Bluffs, Iowa Arena Cross race is held in I can't remember the Mid America Center, which is owned by Caesars and has a casino on the premises. So there's just a 200-yard tunnel that goes from the casino to the stadium. Last time we raced inside of that building, after the races were over, because I was just staying right down the road at Dylan Cloyd's house, I was like, fuck it, let's go to the casino on Saturday night. So, me and him and Drake Bailey was racing for me that weekend. Drake he wasn't 21 yet, so he couldn't go gamble, so he just had to go back to the hotel room with his mom.
What a loser.
Dude.
I'm just kidding. I don't know the kid at all.
So Dylan and a couple other guys went to the blackjack tables, and I'm not a card guy. It doesn't really excite me. I like slots though.
I'm the opposite.
The shitty part about that casino is it is a smoking casino, so it's terrible, dude. It smells like Pall Malls, cherry urinal cakes, and spilled beer. So I found
Cherry urinal cakes?
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking
I'm
about.
talking about my grandma's house like that, bro.
Yeah. Well,
Just kidding.
so at the casino had they had a non-smoking area, which was amazing, except for the fact that they had it was like double doors, sealed doors to get in. There was not one single other person in there. And the circulator for the fresh air in there was blowing so hard that it just was like, whoa, like the whole time. The HVAC system is just going 100 mile an hour. But I started hitting the penny slots on that bitch, dude. And I went in there with $20, which $20 on penny slots goes a long ways.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And I took my $20 and I made $16.78 on top of my $20. And that paid for my, dinner
Meal.
the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just was like, I was thinking, dude, I won almost $20 betting 1 penny at a time. Like that's a big up.
Why do I feel like you were sitting in the slot machine, like with your elbows up, just waiting for the gauge? Bam! Yeah.
I'm old school, dude. I like pulling the lever.
I like seeing the little old ladies whenever you go to and they're still doing that. There's buttons and stuff in front of them, but they're still,
It's tactile.
yeah. Makes you feel like you're really doing something.
Handle the slots. I can't do it.
No.
I want
can't
to.
handle
I want
all
to
the
see
lights
my.
and the noise.
I want to see my cash disappear and break my heart. You know what I mean? I want to see the cash hit the table and then disappear.
Got it.
And then the chips disappear, so I can. Or chips come
Lay
in.
all your cash up here and I'll make it disappear.
Yeah, we can make that happen right now.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got a second kid. You ain't got no cash to your
There's
name.
no anything. Yeah. There's no money anywhere.
Man's broke.
Can't even so broke. I can't even pay attention. You know what I mean?
Damn, dude. Last time I heard that joke, I fell off my dinosaur.
God, we're idiots. Can we get to this thing you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. What's the big thing?
I got a job.
You got a job.
Oh, back to W2 life.
Wait a minute. When I say, I hate when people say that. Let me back up. I hate when people say, like, when people retire from motocross or retire from a sporting, they're like, oh, they got a real job now. That fake job that you thought they had was more work than any quote unquote real job. I've never been in that position to have a fake job, but I'm just saying, like, I can tell you what from little I know about it, that was a real job. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you did get a real job?
Well, it's funny you say W-2. I am not a W-2. I'm a 1099 contractor.
FedEx.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. The company that I now work for is BVM. BVM is Best Version Media. Best Version Media has hyper-local, niche neighborhood magazines distributed exclusively to affluent homeowners whose home is valued over $350,000 and has a minimum income requirement.
This is like the niche of niches.
Hold on. ChatGPT, can you please explain that to me like I'm a 7-year-old child? Because I don't know what you just said.
So what is it? Gemini, summarize this email.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so BVM, they make 35-page neighborhood magazines.
Okay.
A neighborhood magazine is distributed at max to 3,500 residents that fall under those parameters, typically in a group of subdivisions within any one town or two towns.
Okay.
The magazine that I have is called West End Neighbors. West End Neighbors, like I said, is distributed exclusively to affluent homeowners above, that threshold in West Shawnee and Northwest Lenexa.
Okay.
Yes, my demographic is, I think that there's about 12 subdivisions, and it's not the entire subdivision, but there's parts of each of these subdivisions that my magazine gets distributed to. You cannot sign up for the magazine. If you want to subscribe to it, you have to live within the area that we've selected and have the home value and the minimum income distribution. The whole purpose of the magazine is to connect local businesses with local homeowners. So through neighborhood, or let's just say neighbor spotlights. So, all right, let's say like Scott, your old subdivision that you lived in. Mm-hmm. Okay, now imagine if you got a magazine and on the cover it was people that lived 6 houses down from you. Okay. That's what this magazine does, is the feature, the cover and the feature story is always about someone that lives in that neighborhood exclusively. It's never about Patrick and Brittany Mahomes. It's never about, the fucking Hunt family. It's never about, the guy at whatever, right? It's only families within the neighborhood or people that own a home in the neighborhood that you live in. The content of the magazine it's very like reader friendly. It's mostly geared towards like homeowners, and a lot of what's going on in the neighborhood. If there is an HOA, there may be HOA updates. If there is a construction project or something like that happening nearby, that's covered in it. Chili recipes, expert opinions by the local HVAC company, how to keep your air conditioning running clean through the summer, so on and so forth. The magazine or my role is called publisher. It is my job to sell the advertisements in that magazine. Now, it's not just print; it's print and digital both. So let's say that you have, but let's use Jeff Rowe as an example. So Jeff Rowe's painting company or Luke Stolfus Painting. All right. Now let's say that Luke is starting to gain more business over in that Johnson County end. I would then connect with Luke and say, all right, dude, here's my demographic. Here's my distribution. Here's the type of people that we're going after that, are reading these magazines. We have this tier, this tier, this tier, and we're going to double that with not just print, but digital also. So geo-targeted ads on Meta and on Google. All right. So then Luke Luke then commits whatever he wants, for his ad spend. And he's going to then get according reach digitally and then an ad in every single magazine. Okay. BVM, that the parent company that I now work for, BVM has 1,200 different neighborhood magazines in circulation. And last year they distributed over 54 million magazines.
This is nationwide.
Yes, and in Canada also.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is there a tariff on that?
25%.
Mr. Worldwide.
So the whole model here is just, like I said, connecting local businesses with local homeowners that frankly have money to spend on services and have money to go out to eat, that have money to, put their pets in doggy daycare, that, are looking for, specific providers.
Yeah, their house is just hitting 10 years old and it needs a roof, or just,
Sure.
Hey, this house, what I mean? That's your selling point, I guess, when you're trying to sell space to contractors and stuff.
Yes. I mean, it's slightly more intricate than that, but by and large, yes. And obviously, like the whole thing about the magazine is that the reason we put our neighbors on the front of the magazine is because you can't not look. People are nosy about their neighbors, frankly. And
I only know like 2 of mine.
Right. Well, you also live BFE.
True.
Yeah.
Also true.
So that's why I used your old neighborhood as an example, not where you live currently.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that's why, and the magazine's only distributed to places that are suburban and with developed areas.
What was your LinkedIn search to find a job that sells niche magazines to affluent, whatever you said.
Affluent.
Affluent $350,000 above magazines to homeowners.
Sure. It was not LinkedIn.
Okay.
But,
OnlyFans.
dude, LinkedIn for finding jobs, that's the worst. Of all the, between LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed, LinkedIn is the very worst one. It is fucking terrible. Yeah.
I haven't updated a LinkedIn profile since I got out of college, probably.
Most job postings on LinkedIn are phantom anyway.
Just to get you to reach out for whatever.
A lot of the times they don't even have, the job's not even available. They're just collecting CVs. Yeah. This one I would have replied to this listing on ZipRecruiter, and it was a sales job, and it just was advertising, sales, local community, work closely with small businesses. It used a lot of very specific keywords that really connected with me. And whenever I sent them my resume, or it's already logged in or it's already uploaded on ZipRecruiter.
I can only imagine what's on that, Mike.
Dude, hey, you know what's funny is like, what'd you say?
What? I'm talking shit.
But what did you say?
A lot of fluff. You got a lot of fluff.
A lot of fluff?
A lot of fluff.
I thought you said rough.
I thought he said you were a fluffer.
That's right.
That's also on the resume, actually.
My past experience as a fluffer.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I've got it.
So what does this put P1 and Creo on the map?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't really know.
Because this is a dirt bike podcast, so that is a good...
Well, I mean, it's exciting news, but it's concerning at the same time for the listeners.
Yeah.
And for those of us following along.
Well, I'll tell you this much. P1 right now is popping because I'm doing a sale.
Right.
Yeah. I've been murdering with decals. Like, dude.
That's what I was going to ask you. Are we talking gear or decals or both? Which one's popping?
The gear is very, very slow.
Okay.
You want to talk about a niche market. There are not many people that want fully sublimated custom gear.
Which is kind of crazy.
I know.
It's kind of crazy.
I know. And the extra crazy part is, like, yeah, their sticker shock is $260 for a jersey and a set of pants. Just out of curiosity, the other day, I was like, fuck it. What happens if I log on to foxracing.com and buy and put a helmet, a goggle, glove, 360 jersey, Flex Air, whatever, same pant, and boot. Mike, do you remember whenever I did that in our group chat? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, in the Make It Pop group chat, I sent a screen cap of it.
Okay.
It's like $4,000.
Yeah.
No way. I was going to say like $1,500.
No, I might be a little high, but it's big. It's big money.
A lot.
Yeah.
Boots alone, the new Fox boots are like $600-700.
Yeah.
I guess the new helmets are that expensive too.
Yeah, they're $700. The boots are $700. The pants are $220. The jerseys are $80. The gloves are $90. The fucking goggles are $150.
Right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's like $2,500 is what it ends up being.
$4,000's fine. We'll go with that.
Yep. So yeah, like there's that initial sticker shock because I don't have a household name brand.
Right.
But let's say that, but the thing is like motocross racers, they shop deals.
Right.
So the average person that buys gear is going to RockyMountainATVMC.com and they're buying fly gear on closeout.
MSR.
Right. That's last year's or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get a jersey for $25 and a pant for $80, and I'm gonna crash my dirt bike and tear this stuff up anyway.
Right.
And then the people that are doing good sponsor representation, they are getting Fast Houses 60% off, or they're getting Answer for free or whatever.
Right.
I have to thread the needle between sponsored riders and bargain shoppers.
Is Answer still alive?
Yeah, dude, Answers. Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, not to get off topic.
No, it's okay. I'm selling gear to people that want to represent their sponsors better than anyone else. Well, and if you're the type of person that is going to put, 3 logos on each shoulder and then, your OEM and your dealership, and then your third logo, then you flip it over, and on the back we got name and number. And then if you want forearm, things to look factory, and you put your OEM back on their shoulder, dude, you're talking about $80 just in iron-ons. Okay. That right there, having a sublimated jersey and pant pays for itself.
Well, like if I'm listening to this and I'm Billy Bob, or Billy Bob Jr.'s racing, right? But I'm Billy Bob and I own Billy Bob's Heating and Cooling. Why wouldn't you buy sublimated gear from P1?
Yeah.
And put your company, that's what's paying for the racing anyways. Why aren't like nowadays, I guess, let's reverse back to our time, the Lambert boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole Lambert crew should be in P1
Midwest Heating,
and Cooling gear. It doesn't even, P1's a little piece of it, but like Midwest Heating and Cooling, or if Nick's boys ever raced, Above All Construction dirt bike gear. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that.
Why would that should be the only thing you'd put your kid in.
Let me show you a set of gear I did earlier today.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's if you are listening to this, you should really consider that, because you're spending the money anyways. For one, it's custom. Nobody else has it. Nobody's going to look as cool. You can get whatever you want on it. And then little junior, now it's a tax write-off. I know. What are you waiting for? And almost everybody in motocross, like they own a business of some kind.
Or they've got a sponsor.
Yeah.
I know. Dude,
I don't need gear, but you've sold me.
I know it's crazy. And the thing is like, I can jump up and down about custom sublimation and represent your sponsors and do all this, but at the end of the day, people go with what they know, and they end up buying Fox, or they buy Thor, or they get MSR on the cheap stuff, or they just get whatever. Ocelot, yeah. Or, a lot of people are buying A-Stars right now because that's what's popular. It's trendy. So, yeah, that's what I'm up against. So, okay, getting back to the original question, what happens to P1 and what happens to Creo? P1, I don't know. I could close it up and be fucking fine, honestly. Or I could just kind of do it whenever, like, some homies need stickers or something like that, because I've got a print provider. I can make a couple dollars, do something creative, and yeah. The gear's not really taking off anyway, so I'm not too hard up about it. And I have 7 different gear sets. Yeah. So, I've got gear already designed. It's not hard to put logos on and then just send it to Ismail at Skills. And, same thing. Third party takes me, an hour's worth of work to deal with it and make a little bit of money whenever people want it. Creo. I specifically took a job where I would have control over my time. That is the thing that is the number one thing about working for myself for the last 5 years is I value my time. And I interviewed for a lot of positions. And I remember there was one of them that had a really good base salary with pretty big commissions. And one of the questions that the interview lady asked me, she was like, where does your interest start and end with this job? And I told her, I was like, well, it starts with the baseline, it starts with the base salary. I've worked for myself for the last 5 years. I value my time. If I'm going to get in my truck and drive to Corporate Woods and be at Corporate Woods for 9 hours a day, I have to be compensated for my time. Even though this is a sales job, I still have to be compensated for my time. It's as simple as that. She was like, oh, yeah, I totally get it, And we conducted, what's crazy is I said that, but then that was the only thing where, like, I kind of felt like she didn't really vibe with my answer. And then afterwards, she was like, yeah, we'll let you know. And, you'll hear from us on Friday, whether it's yes or no. And then 2 days later, I logged into Indeed and I saw where it said, company has, they're not interested or whatever. It gives you this like red box with a fucking X on it.
Took you back to 8th grade.
Yeah.
Fail.
Yeah. And I just was like, oh, fuck you, dude. You told me, and like, don't lie to me and say that one thing, but also they don't owe me anything just because I applied to them.
Right.
Creo will go forward. I don't know in what capacity, but it will continue. And I may have to take time off from it. You know, I may have to take a year where we just don't do team operations at all, and you know, go full hog with West End Neighbors. The other cool thing about the magazine, and this is a really important part to me, is it's scalable. So if I want to start one of these magazines in Lawrence because there's not one, I can. Once I get my book of business built up and get, you know, everything rolling with West End Neighbors, then I can essentially copy and paste the same format over to.
Now, do you have to do any of the designing,
Nothing.
or the layout, or
Nothing?
You're just selling it.
Yes,
You're just selling the ads.
that's correct.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I do have a say over some of the content. I do have a say over some of the design of the magazine. But at the end of the day, I mean, BVM, they're in very few words, they say, do not get caught up in the design of the magazine.
What does BVM stand for?
Best Version Media.
Best Version Media.
Yeah. They've been around since 2007. They first launched with 6 different neighborhood magazines. And like I said, now they've got 1,200 of them. Yeah.
That's wild.
And we're also, by the way, we are looking for someone in Lee Summit to launch a magazine.
Why'd you just point at me? You want me to launch a magazine?
Yeah, why not?
You do live just south of Lee Summit.
Can you just imagine me wheeling up to somebody's door? Hi there. Would you like to buy a magazine?
That's not what it is, but yeah.
That's not how it works.
Oh.
You have it totally backwards. You're trying
you're
to
not
sell
selling-
Girl
I'm
Scout
selling the
cookies right
ads.
now.
I'm not selling the magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not doing door-to-door sales of
Doing
magazines,
business
Michael.
to business, big dog.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
B2B.
strictly B2B.
Stuff you already do every day. We just rocked his world there.
You
For a
did.
second, yeah.
I'm processing.
He's Girl Scout.
Let me
cookie
ask you this.
seller
Let me
now.
ask this.
Okay.
Have you ever done cold calling?
Very little.
Yeah.
Very little.
Does the idea of cold calling make you cringe?
It doesn't make me cringe. It just do you ever watch The Office?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like Michael Scott. I don't need everyone to like me. I just don't want everyone to hate me.
Okay.
And I feel like when I have cold called people, majority of the time you're just hated because you get hung up on.
Sure.
And that's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And then you got to go for ice cream, and then you overeat, and like it's a whole.
See, I'm picturing Jeff as Jordan Belfort in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, I can
when he
see
goes
that.
into
Oh.
the penny stocks
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
The very first time, and he starts giving him the spiel. Have I got a deal for you? Look what just
Yeah.
came across my. That's you.
Aerodyne.
Aerodyne
Yes.
dynamics. Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Cutting edge technology.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I mean, it's about being able to confidently explain to people what I'm selling to you is going to make your business money. And the cool thing about BVM, the way that their whole system is structured, dude, I have so much support. Like on Sunday, I'm driving up to Milwaukee to do training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, at their home office.
Milwaukee.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be back on Thursday and start scheduling appointments to meet with businesses in the.
That was my next question. Is it all over the phone, or are you going to go out and about?
It starts over the phone.
Okay.
Right? You call to schedule appointments.
Okay.
Yeah. I already have I've built over the last couple of days a prospect list of over 150 different businesses in Western Johnson County.
That was my next question. If someone's not in that area, but they want to advertise in that area, is that allowed?
Absolutely.
Even though they're not part of that group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you sell, let's say that you sell wedding cakes.
Okay.
Okay. And there's a lot of people in my area that are getting married. Hell yeah, we're going to help you, advertise your product in our area. Absolutely.
I just can't get the magazine unless I live there.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is the one part, and it's exclusive. Now, however, there could be an existing magazine. There isn't one in Lee Summit, but let's say that there was. All right. And the cool part is let's say that you don't know your BVM publisher, but you know me. I can sell into that magazine for you. So I can sell the Lee Summit neighborhood, whatever. So like Raintree, let's say it's Raintree, right?
Okay.
Okay. So Raintree Neighbors Magazine, I can sell into that magazine, and I still get the bonus, and I still get the commission.
I feel like a lot of their success is there anybody else doing this? Do they have any competition?
There is another magazine that I know of that's called Stroll. And let me tell you, it's straight cheeks. It's terrible. Booty cheeks.
Booty cheeks.
Or as the kids would say, dog water. It's terrible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And from my leadership, we have no competition. BVM dominates the space entirely.
Do you think the listeners have turned this show off by now?
Probably.
No.
No, not our listeners, right?
Dude, I mean, people, you got to think, we have 100 people that listen to this podcast and they all know us.
That's right. Nobody listens to it anyways. You're right.
Hi, Mom.
My mom doesn't listen. She doesn't even know what a podcast is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the chances that you could feature a neighbor's face on Creo graphics for next year's Arena Cross team?
0. The neighbor's face is not getting featured on any because the neighbors do not advertise.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, wouldn't that really bring it home? You know,
That's
tie it all together.
that's advertising to the wrong demographic. Because you got to think, the people in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
they don't even subscribe to the magazine.
That's true. So do they even know they're getting it,
Yes, they know they're getting it. They get it every month,
whether they want to or not?
whether they want to or not.
So it's like the Price Chopper coupons that fill up my mailbox.
Yeah.
That,
Kinda.
That's
more exclusive.
That is extremely reductive. That is extremely reductive. Though one could use that analogy just in the fact that the magazine is going to be sent to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. At work, I did not believe in this era in the power of direct mail.
It's unbelievable.
People eat it up. It's like nowadays, because everything is so digital, that when you actually get something physical that you can hold, it's if I see an ad on Facebook, I just scroll past it. But if I get that same ad in a postcard, I may not totally be interested, but it still catches my it takes my time away.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because that's so much of what makes BVM so valuable and this direct mailing, structure with this magazine is that number one, we have content that you can't look away from. We literally have people from your neighborhood. People are nosy. People want to know about the other people in the neighborhood. Good, bad, whatever. They're curious, right? Additionally, it's about your neighborhood. It's connecting businesses and people with each other, which is feel good, right? Okay. So it's not like where you get, Discover, or Amex stuff every single day, which is funny, dude, because like there's been times where like, I've been like, fuck, dude, I could really use an extra 10 grand right now. And I'm getting, offers from fucking Lending Club and from Capital One, you're pre-qualified for $30,000, no cash down or whatever it is. And so, that kind of stuff, they get you on the right day, right? Mm-hmm. And those money offers that come in, those lending offers, they know the other thing that comes in the mail is the bills. Mm-hmm. You get a
Tie
bill.
them together. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you get bills and they know that like, they'll send me, let's say Discover sends me stuff every single day almost that I get credit card offers from Discover. The crazy part about it, this is what's wild. And you mentioned direct mailing. The psychology that's behind direct mailing. Aubrey and I get the same exact offers from Discover, but the packaging that they come in is totally different. One is feminine, one is masculine. Mine are always black with gold. Mm-hmm. Aubrey's are always
like pink
or like persimmon or something like that. And like for the wording for men, it's always about, restore stability in your house. It pretty much says it's okay to be a man and have to lend money. For the women, it's you deserve rewards. You deserve, there's a lot of this where it's like you're special. But at the end of the day, the APR is the same. The credit limit's the same. It's all the same shit. It's just worded differently because of consumer psychology.
I had something. Oh, you know what I think the best ad scheme out there is?
What?
Like how you scheme.
That's because it is. Vital MX Forum. Those ads pop up, and that little X is invisible up in the top right.
Yeah.
You have to look at that thing for at least 6 minutes minimum.
Or like the YouTube one that
You
comes
can't-
on before a YouTube video.
Yeah, you
that
can't
you have to watch.
You can't find how to close it out.
It's so small.
Yeah. So Cooper Webb's just flashing in my face like this, and by the end of it, I'm like, fine, I'll buy Fly.
The worst one of them all was the last Fox campaign that was the Hello Future campaign with that fluorescent green color.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
So bright.
I need sunglasses.
Yep.
Yeah. Advertising, dude, it's the real deal. I mean, that's the thing about and you know the commissions for me are unmatched. The bonuses are unbelievable. And the reason that BVM is able to pay me what the commissions and the bonuses are, and by the way, like all good sales jobs, I don't earn a fucking red cent unless I sell. So I'm strictly commission. The reason that the money is so lucrative is because we actually offer value. We sell something that people need. We sell something that people want. We offer value, and it's to exclusive clientele.
With disposable income.
With disposable income, that's the
the
what
whole
makes
idea,
it. Yeah,
right.
that's the whole idea. Yeah. What surprised me were the top 3 buyers of ad space in these magazines nationwide with BVM. Number 1 is real estate agents. That
makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. What really surprised me is number 2 were local bars and restaurants. That one, for some reason, really surprised me. Number 3, I'm not remembering what that is right off at the top of my head, but it's another professional service that might be financial advising or something like that. Anyway, it's a very
Dog grooming.
dog grooming. Yeah, dog grooming is in there.
I believe it is,
All pet related services. I know it's within the top 10. Yeah. I'm really excited about it though. It's great because, like with the race team I've always tried to be solutions driven. And be able to add value. At times, it can be hard to show value or return on investment with a dirt bike racing team. Whenever people are writing checks for it, other than here's photos and here's our position and we're fast. And I mean, sometimes that's just what you get out of it. But with this, it's literally we are adding value to your business and getting you connected with your core demographic, exactly who you're going after, and they can't look away from it.
Well, this is like we talked about real life job. That's like the difference between the race team or any type of racing marketing versus real life or real world marketing and services to actual clients, individuals.
Yes.
The real world separate from the racing world, because the racing world, like anybody that you see is throwing big dollars at a race team or something like that is because they like racing.
Yeah.
It's not because they think it's going to be a big money driver or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless you're maybe a Monster Energy and everything fits into your exact demographic, what you're selling. But I'm talking like individuals that are either funding a race team or paying a race team or whatever it is, whether it's NASCAR or airplane racing or whatever it is. It's the people that are sponsoring that like that sport.
It's actually really funny that you say that because on the professional end of it, of being a sponsorship sales guy and this, pretend, not having a real job, got to get a real job. It's so funny because a lot of the stuff that I applied for was you don't need sales experience. But if you are a retired professional athlete or you're a collegiate level athlete, we are exactly who you're looking for. It's not about selling and being able to sell product. It's about having drive. Good salespeople, it's not about selling. Because at the end of the day, we think of like a sales guy, like your typical sales guy, car salesman, right? Car salesmen are such a small percentage of sales guys, and they're all slimy. The car sales model is just a slimy business as a whole. Like, ugh. However, most sales guys are business to business. Like at large, very few people actually sell to the general public.
Right. That's all we do is business to business.
Yeah. And so like when I say that I'm in sales, that's what I'm doing is I'm literally just connecting, businesses with the buyer.
That would explain why you see so many racers, not just motocross, go when they retire or quit, real estate agents or sports agent, marketing agent, something in that field.
It's a lot of that is because of their ability to understand value and what a dollar is worth too, is the other thing. In my resume, where I talked about, because on I didn't do like a cover letter. I just did a 2-pager, one that was like an overview of me, and then one was specific, things that I've done within my businesses. But it, on the front page or on the first page, it talked about how I've sold $200,000 in sponsorship over the last 5 years, and like to BVM, that was my golden ticket to the chocolate factory. Is that I've sold something that some people may argue doesn't even really exist. I sold sand to a crab on the beach. I never thought of myself as a sales guy. And then my brother-in-law called me out of the blue during the arena cross season and was like, would you ever want to come to work for me? And I'm like, I don't think so. Why? What do you got? And he's like, dude, I'm so impressed with your ability to sell, what you've done for sponsors. And he's like, in all reality, you're selling the fucking hardest thing there is to sell, sponsorship. I talked to Dane Moss about going to work for him also. I like Dane. I like Moss Marketing Group. The being in Kansas City part every single day I didn't want to report to Midtown from Lawrence. If I lived closer, I probably would have done it, but I don't. And so I was out on that. Taz at A-Stars tried to recruit me. He's like, bro, I'll pay for you to move to Chicago. Come be my Chicago A-Stars rep. You'll make
be a hell of a market.
Hell of a market. That's right. One of the top in the nation. He's like, you're the right guy for the job.
Other than Cooper Webb.
Because
Taz loves Cooper Webb.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving,
That's
man.
right. I interviewed with Stark to become their Midwest rep.
Yeah.
Had a lot of traction. With them. Stark, as we talked about.
Stark, you like corporate Stark overseas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But here.
Yeah.
Same company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like a U.S. distributor. You weren't going to work for like a U.S.
No, Stark is Stark.
They don't have like somebody bringing it in.
They do their own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They have dealers and a dealer network, but it's...
Yeah.
Stark USA is Stark Future. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, thought, okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I interviewed for that position and had a lot of traction, a lot of good conversations. I know a couple other guys that applied for the job and actually got the same momentum where it was there, and then poof, nothing.
You all rode KTMs.
Yeah. And and so it just kind of that kind of fell off, and I really leaned into it. Maybe there's something outside of motocross that I need to be, and a couple different people were like, dude, you're like, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be connecting people with their target audience. Sales. I never thought of myself as a sales guy, but I've been selling sponsorships for 5 years.
I'm curious to follow up on this in like 6 months to a year to see if this makes motocross more enjoyable for you.
I have a feeling it will.
I think it will too.
I love having it separate.
Yeah.
Like my day job is totally separate.
Unrelated.
Okay, but you also have an occupation in motocross. as a coach.
Right, exactly. And actually, it sometimes gets like, dude, here's the conversation lately. Like, well, dude, how come you don't ride? I don't ride. I've probably rode twice in the last 2 months. You know what I mean? And like, well, for one, well, you're at the track all the time. Yeah, I'm there all the time yelling at people on how to ride their dirt bike, right? You know what I mean? But like, well, just take your bike and ride after practice, dude, or after coaching. Like, dude, I am mentally fried afterwards. And I maybe had 1 bottle of water in the last 6 hours.
Yeah.
I've maybe ate a power bar in the last 6 hours. And I yelled at you all day. And I've been processing how to go faster and how to improve what for everybody else. Riding afterwards is like super difficult for me to do. And it's like, I'm kind of ready to go home. I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds bad, but that's really what it comes down to sometimes on that, with it being connected, you know?
I have a Mike Garrison style question. I try to put myself in your shoes.
Okay.
When was
They
the last?
never get dirty.
I actually was noticing these are a little dirtier than I expected.
That's because there's one door at work to go into the break room that has this little curb, and I got to foot slam it to get it open.
Okay, Mike Garrison perception question. When was the last time you were coached?
Like officially coached,
As
coached?
a rider that showed up to be coached.
Dude, I think one of your schools at your house.
Yeah.
At the Wood.
Yeah.
At Crutcher Wood, the Oval Night, one of the Oval Nights. There's probably something in there after that, but that's
Do you
the one
think
I can
that
think
you
of.
would enjoy it to go and be coached as a rider?
So for me, that's a very good question. Yes and no. I have a hard time. It needs to be coached by the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's a big deal. Like even with my fitness side,
Yeah.
like, cause like I know a lot about it, right? And I know the information. So I need somebody that also knows a lot or has more perspective or is involved with it more. Like I would take coaching from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just would. We have that relationship and you see things differently than I see it. And so it's very beneficial. But I probably should. Actually, when I was trying to do outdoors before I got hurt the first time back in 18, I was going to go to Robbie's. I was going to go to Raynard's and ride, really more so to just ride with Benny and Austin and those guys. I was going, and then I got hurt the week before we were going to go down there. But I was like, I wanted to go there to get the conditions, do the program that they're doing, more so than going there to get coached and help. Because the hard part is I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just, am I always doing it? Am I not? You know what I mean? And I don't know. Getting coached I think I could be coached, but it has to be by the right person.
Wave a magic wand. Let's go with top 3 coaches that you would want to get coached by. If there's even 3.
Oh, I don't even know. I've never really thought about it. Out of people that I know personally, I would actually probably say Rob Amondi's one of them. Mm-hmm. Just good buddy, kind of same scenario.
Sure.
You and I are probably, you're probably maybe in the list. But if we're going way out above and beyond, I mean, anybody that's a top level factory type of guy or was a previous factory guy, somebody like that is who I would take information from. Like a Chad Reed
There you go.
would be ideal in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I think he would be hard enough on you to be like, where he's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? I think that would be good for me to have that, like a no nonsense type of thing. But anybody at that level would probably be good for me, but I don't know. I think I would have a hard time taking any instruction from like a Colleen Millsaps.
Yeah.
Or
Someone that hasn't done it.
Yes, right. Yeah. And that's just me. That's my mentality. And I mean, dude, I'm not the best, and I was never the best by any means. But I'm a very big into problem solving, and that's like to go faster on a dirt bike is all problem solving based. So that's how I narrow down how we get better and get faster. Is you put together just same thing I do at work. I solve problems at work every day, all day. That's all I do. Mm-hmm. And so when I found a way to do that with motocross, with dirt bikes, whatever you want to call it, to add passion to it as well, right? So you're really invested in it, but to be able to really focus on, okay, how do we go faster? Well, let's look at where where we can really make little adjustments that add and add and add and add and add.
Michael, switching to you, if you were a motocross racer, who would you like to be trained by?
Kevin Windham all the way.
You want him in New Balances showing you what to do, right?
For no other reason than I would purposely just screw shit up all day, every day, just to watch him grab my bike with his khaki shorts, his T-shirt, his open face helmet with no goggles, no gloves, in tennis shoes with tube socks, and just rip. I could watch him do that all day long.
Nice.
Yeah. But from an actual skill standpoint, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's changed probably so much over the years, right? Like when
Yeah.
we were younger kids, you'd take coaching from anybody. I remember your dad, Jerry C., taught me a lot of stuff, especially not to plant corn in the winter.
That's a hell of a tip.
Yeah.
I'm going to now. I'm just going to pick two, and I'd love to be coached by you. I'd love to be coached by Greg Albertson, Robbie Smith. I'd like to be coached by Robbie Smith because he beat me so many times, and still probably would because he's so goddamn fast.
He's so fast.
Not interested in Robbie Raynard.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Raynard's coaching. When I was going to go there, it was because Benny and Austin were doing really good, and I wanted to ride the place.
I've been around when he's coaching, and his delivery just doesn't sync with me.
Well, see, and I think that's a big deal too. I think that's important for kids to try different trainers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, go see if Junior listens to somebody, if the message resonates better with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just get coaching. I don't care what kind it is. Just go get some.
So my number one coach, Justin Brayton.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Not that he is a coach. No. He does advise, but like I would love to have him coach me. Him and I have had a lot of really good conversations about mentality, coming from being a team owner and him owning a Honda dealership and working with talent as a whole and his role as kind of being a development writer for Honda. And then the other one, and this is going to be really left field, and it may seem for such a silly reason, but in Topeka at the last race, Bryce McLeod helped me set my whole shot device and took my bike to the line and, was in my ear. I didn't ask him to, but like, bro, he was hyping me up and saying so much of the right stuff. I always loved it whenever Keith was my mechanic, but there were also times, God bless Keith, love him. However, Keith's riding skill just wasn't there. So like whenever he would say stuff to me, it's like you're saying the right stuff that a mechanic is supposed to say to his rider, but you're saying it because it's what someone else has said, and this is no slight against Keith,
Right?
And this is where that disconnect is of where a guy like Brent Duffy, who can fucking haul the mail, a guy
battled at the
Iowa,
race years ago.
The thing about a guy like that is it's like, this guy's fast. He's been there. He's had scary incidents at speed. He's gotten out of scary incidents. He's been in race scenarios. He knows what it's like to be out there. He can see the stuff, right? You got to have a guy that can see the stuff. Bryce dude, everything. It was his word selection, his cadence, the way he was, saying it. I just felt like, dude, I got fucking Ali Seymour behind me right now. Like I am MC.
You know what?
You're ready.
And maybe like I've never taken one of your classes, so maybe you do this. What I think some people need as a trainer is someone to say to them, what is your realistic goal? And not just say, I want to be the best dirt bike racer in the world. It's okay to say, I just want to win the novice class at a state race.
Yeah.
Just one race. And that's the goal. And we're going to train you and gear you up to do that. Because I think a lot of people that I've encountered or talked to after they do training with whoever, they go into it and they say, I want to be Ricky Carmichael. So they're treated as if they are Ricky Carmichael, and the trainer's doing exactly what they asked for. But that's not really what they want.
Right.
They don't
That's what they need.
That's not what they need. That's not what they need or they want. They just want to win at Kingsville on Sunday.
Right.
So there's levels to all of it, right? Like everything, just as in life, there is in dirt bikes and everything else, especially from the coaching side. Like, dude, there's times where I'm coaching kids that got their bike a month ago, you know what I mean, or whatever. And so you there's levels to all of it. And then the one thing that I'm going to pat myself on the back here, but something I've gotten very good at is being able to like even run a camp with somebody that's done it for a long time and somebody who hasn't done it for a long time. And we're in the same day running kind of the same program, but hey, I'm working with Jeff on, hey, yeah, we're doing the roughly same drill, but this is what you're doing wrong. Mike, you have not, you know what I mean? You don't have near the experience, whatever it is. Like, hey, okay, you need to do this differently to make you get to the next level. And so I think there's definitely levels to it. Just like my upcoming school at Bar to Bar next weekend is I call them all-star camps, because we don't really talk about technique. We will brush on it. We will barely talk about it, but we're talking line selection. We're talking why you're not shifting enough. We're going outside to inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in motos. You're going to do sprints against kids that are your speed. So it's more of that facility type.
I was going to say that's training facility type
and
stuff.
so that's what I call my all-star camps. That's the whole reason it exists, is to do that, because there's a lot of kids that don't need to do oval drill. I mean, not everybody needs to do an oval drill, but that's not what they're coming for me. They need to come and find a little bit more intensity or a little bit more speed. So that's where the all-star camp is. But we do the same thing at Mega Camp. I mean, but luckily we have 3 days for that, where we go from zero to hero over those 3 days. We start in the weeds with the basics of stuff, especially even for guys that have done it for a long time or are really good. And then by the last day, you're running like Loretta's replica motos, like sight lap in the gate drops, and you're running a full moto for a prize. You know what I mean? So there's levels to all of it.
Do you remember when you used to buy a Suzuki, you get a free Tony D school?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to one at Dragoon.
Hell yeah.
The issue was, it's a free school that you get when you buy a Suzuki dirt bike, but everyone there was treated as though we were at a facility, like it was so over the top that it was like, I'm just doing this because it was free and it came with my dirt bike.
Yeah, a little too high level.
A little too much.
Yeah.
And that turned me off of like riding schools at a very young age for me. Because I wasn't the kind of kid that if you yelled at me, I just shut down.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going to, so if you screamed and yelled at me and told me, you suck in that turn.
Yeah, I do.
See, and
Yeah,
I think
okay.
there's places for all of that, and that's just
Yeah.
coaching and styles. And everybody like you coach different than I do. Jeff doesn't bring his level of coaching down very much. He likes to talk very high level. Just that's the way he likes to coach. But he's able to translate. He talks so much, right, like I do, that he's able to translate the higher level to anybody for the most part. But it's just different. Coaching aspects on how people relay the message and who you talk to. Just like last weekend, Saturday, I did an old dude moto crew training day.
Yeah.
We had 14, 15 guys, whatever it was, on Saturday. Guys that have been riding longer than me, you know what I mean, or whatever. Youngest guy's 25, oldest guy's, how old's my father-in-law? 60? How old, the jet, And then the next day was an all ages, all skill levels, all everything, you know what I mean? From a 7-year-old to a 25-year-old or whatever. And just different ranges, just totally different 2 types of training days back to back of stuff you're talking about, how to do things. So pretty interesting to see how that kind of comes together. But yeah, I could totally see being turned off by having the wrong coach or the wrong coaching style. Cause some coaches will not adjust their coaching because you came and joined them that day.
Yeah.
They're going to coach to these guys that they work with over here, and you just got to find a way to keep up. And that's probably how that school went.
Yeah. And it's all about what the coach is trying to get out of,
Well, and a lot of it too is like, how often are you training the kid? How often is the kid in training?
Yeah.
Do you see him every day? Are you working with the same kid 3 times a week, once a month, once every 2 months? Does the kid do 1 school a year and that's all he gets? Yeah. So those are different scenarios which require different goals, different types of training.
Yeah. One of the things that is interesting about coaches is coaches are either one of 2 things. Coaches are either uncoachable or the most coachable whenever it comes to against, students. Circling back to BVM, whenever I was interviewing, I had talked about how, I've got this race team and I've got athletes that rode for me. And the lady was like, would you consider yourself coachable? And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, I am. I was like, I am such a student of this whole industry and racing as a whole that I was so inspired by the guys that I was coaching that I wanted to get back into racing. I think that, I'm really looking forward to this whole, the training meeting and all the continued education, because they do huge continued education. It never stops. Whenever I was talking to my interviewer, like, what are some key things that I should look, that you're looking for? And they were like, someone that's coachable. Greg Albertson talks about being coachable all the time. You talk about being coachable all the time. The top level coaches, it is something, it's so funny how like a lot of the times these coaches will we have to remind the parents, you have to have a coachable child. iPad kids and yes parents do not create coachable children.
Dude, so I have really got into this like moto parent information, trying to get information to them. And now I'm barely a moto parent, right? Like I'm on he rides in my yard. He's never rode anywhere outside of the track at our house, right? But I spend a lot of time with him, and people bring me their kids to coach them because, hey, this is affecting my father, son, my daughter, dad relationship, whatever. I need you to take care of this because this is affecting our relationship, which is fine. That's great. That's what I'm here for. But I've been putting stuff in my newsletter. I don't know if either of you get it, but like in my newsletter, like I have a section in there for like insider information for the moto parent. That's what I call it. And dude, a big thing that I find myself kind of repeating is like lead by example is a huge part of it. Like, dude, if you're getting plowed on Sunday,
God, I love getting plowed on Sundays.
If you're having, you know what I mean? Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on. Are we still talking about dirt bikes? But like if you're getting hammered on race day, and how are you supposed to make sure that that bike is in good condition for little Johnny? You know what I mean? Or how are you able to give little Johnny the best racing advice that you can give him? But this is actually literally something I kind of typed up today. It's going out tomorrow. But I find myself talking about different things like that with moto parents that it's like, I think it gets overlooked. I think it's people, I mean, obviously you're trying to tell adults what to do or how to do things, but like, it's just information that like my dad never had any like moto coaching, or neither did my mom. You know what I mean? We just kind of figured out as it goes, but like just information for them of like, hey, like leading by example is a huge deal, especially for athletes. You know what I mean? Like you're expecting little Timmy to go run 3 miles today so he can be better on his dirt bike Sunday. When's the last time you ran 3 miles, Pops? You know what I mean? Like, and so, yeah, I know it's hard after work or whatever, but like little things like that create your kid to being coachable. It helps create that atmosphere, a winning atmosphere.
That's why Michael and I never got arm pump.
That's right. That's right. Old Greg. That you saying that reminds me of when we went to Sterling, Kansas. After the first moto, I was so discouraged because you and Dennis Jonan lapped me at least once, maybe twice in one moto. And so they had those like little dunes that you could ride.
Cool.
You know what I'm talking about? Off to the side you could ride. My dad said, "You're not riding in the sand right. Like you're not, come over here, let's go ride. I'm going to show you how to do this." So my dad goes to like just rail this sand berm, eat shit right in front of me. And I was like, awesome. So can we both go home now? Because clearly we both suck in the sand.
Dude, that's one reason I quit demonstrating in schools.
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, watch me do this. And then I'd go tuck the front right in front, like Chase Sexton right in front of a group of 10 kids. Like, okay, that's not what we do.
On the last lap while leading?
Yeah.
Racing the bag.
But like, dude, well, for one, and then like coaching in your gear all day and like that just, it doesn't, if I'm riding and trying to coach you in the same time, like I'm focusing on not crashing and I'm my riding, then I am worried about you learning and taking information from it. Like it just doesn't, to me, that doesn't add up. But
boys, we gotta wrap it up here. It's almost 4:00.
We hit our library time limit, 2-hour time limit.
Michael, it was very good to have you back on.
It was nice to be back on. This is a lovely studio.
So are we going to be able to get you back more now?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's tap into these work from home days.
Let's do that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Very last question. What are we doing with our off weekend? We got no Supercross. Missouri State's going on. Scotty, are you?
I literally don't know what I'm doing yet.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm going to bar. I don't know if I'm going to Kingsville. I can't I'm going to bar next weekend for a camp.
Sure.
And so I can't decide if I'm going to drive down there 2 weekends in a row with 2 kids. Or what? Callie and I talked, and today is our decision day. We have to make a decision by tonight on what we're going to do. Do I drive 30 minutes to Kingsville and ride in 70-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday? Or do I drive to bar and actually tie a little bit of business to it? So,
But the thing is you're going to be driving in wind down there and in wind on the way back. And it's already always windy at bar to bar.
very true.
Yeah.
But they got a new layout.
Fuck, they do. Yeah, I'm very curious to see that.
I'm very curious.
Yeah.
And it's KMCS. It's not AMA. I can run a GoPro.
No, it's still.
KMCS isn't AMA. I don't think it is. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I think that it's still a chartered event. because Joey called Bruce to talk to him about riding the Stark, and Bruce is like, sorry, you can't ride it this weekend.
I think you have that mixed up. I think that's Kingsville.
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. That was a whole thing. Because, yeah.
Anyways, I have no idea what I'm doing
Sure.
this weekend.
Michael, what do you got going on?
I was going to announce at Kingsville on Sunday, but I have a birthday party. So, probably something nice. Probably go to the Home Depot. Probably
Bed Bath & Beyond?
a Bed Bath & Beyond.
Big day?
Big day. If we're not too tired, maybe the Olive Garden for dinner.
That sounds like a nice little afternoon.
Yeah.
It really does.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah. That's my plans.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still going. Hold on.